American flag, blue and red 47 brand t-shirts are on sale for $15 tonight only at the merchandise stand. At this time, we ask you to please rise and remove your caps for the singing of the national anthem. Here to sing tonight's national anthem, please welcome Faith Bulger. Faith is affiliated with Onset Foursquare Church. She is the worship leader and has been singing since she was 12. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Faith Bulger.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
The following is a presentation of Wareham Gatemen Baseball, brought to you by the Gatemen Baseball Network in conjunction with the Cape Cod Baseball
Throwing
League.
out tonight's ceremonial first pitch.
Last summer, the Wareham Gatemen had one of their most successful seasons in franchise history.
Skied out to left field. This ball is way back. See you later, Colton Shaver.
2-1 pitch. That is rocketed out to right field. Back goes the right fielder. That one's gone. An absolute bomb to right field for Gavin Sheets.
But despite their regular season success, the 2016 Gatemen were sent packing after the first round of the CCBL playoffs.
Is this ball fair? It is! Rowe comes in to score the game's tying run. McKinnon comes in as well. Bourne has walked off, and Wareham's season is over.
Now, a new season and a fresh start in Wareham. College baseball's finest are coming from all over the country in pursuit of the Gatemen's 8th Cape Cod Baseball League Championship.
Through the infield, coming around to score is Topa. Play at the plate, and Metz is safe too. It's a 2 RBI single.
0-1 count on Luke Botkill, who swings and drives this one deep to left field. That one is into the trees.
Mono, that's set right up the middle, past the dive of the shortstop, and in for a base hit. Rounding third, heading home is Bonfield. An RBI single for Robbie Metz.
Off speed, throwing back to first base, MacGyver, and the tag is in time from Sable.
Driven out to right center and deep. This one is gone. Tristan Pompey is second of the night. His second 3-run shot.
Chopped in the infield. Coming over is Politz. He doesn't handle the baseball. The run scores. The Gatemen win their 3rd consecutive home opener.
It's Wareham Gatemen Baseball, and you're listening to it live on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Welcome out to Spillane Field, everybody. It is the Cotuit Cavaliers taking on the Wareham Gatemen for game number 19 this season. Jacob Toby alongside Connor Federico will be checking in with our Claudia Chikamian in just a moment. And Connor, Gatemen coming in 8-10 off that win versus the Whitey Red Sox last night, 4-0.
Yeah, and it was a really complete performance by pretty much all facets of the game for the Gatemen. You start with the offense, and the offense, it was pretty good, but it was led by Jake Anchia, who in the 4th inning had a 2-run shot with 2 outs. Fast forward to the 7th, 2 outs by Robbie Metz and Jaron Duran. Then you get 3 straight singles by John Topa, Stephen Kwan, and Tanner Dodson. So the speedy guys at the bottom and the top of the lineup all facets really working for the Gatemen last night.
Let's take a look at the Cotuit starting lineup. Griffin Conine in right field bats first. Chandler Avant, the shortstop, bats second. John Cresto, the DH. Zach Kane at third. Brett Kinnaman, the left fielder. Luke Alexander at second base. Thomas Dillard, the first baseman. Miles Lewis, the center fielder, bats eighth. And Ivan Gonzalez is the catcher. He bats ninth. Stephen Williams at home plate tonight. Nick DeMarchi, the first base umpire. Sam Finn, the umpire, at third. We'll take a look at the Gatemen defense in just a moment. On the hill for the Gatemen, Justin Glover. First pitch is a strike to Griffin Conine, and we're underway at Spillane Field.
Glover out of Georgia has such great talent, really impressive left arm. He's been fantastic for the Gatemen so far this summer.
Takes a ball low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Conine, .349 on the year, 2 home runs, 13 runs batted in. He slugs that baseball.
Yeah, and he was just slugging it out back in Omaha, making an appearance in the college home run derby. Didn't get past the first round.
This one chopped to the second baseman, Duran. High Sox tonight for Duran. On to first base, retires Conine.
It's not a look we've seen often out of the Gatemen this summer, but that's my favorite sort of baseball look. It is. When I played, I always went with the high socks, especially if you've got a nice color, you know, like Cotuit, like the batter right now, Chandler Avant. I really like these socks here.
Gatemen defense goes as follows. Kyle Kasser at third, Ben Baird the shortstop, Jaron Duran at second, Blake Sable at first. Left to right in the outfield, Stephen Kwan, Tanner Dotson, Luke Bonfield, Willie McIver does the catching for Glover. Chandler Avant, the shortstop, coming in, batting from the right side. .270, 2 home runs, and 6 runs batted in, takes a ball outside.
Yeah, and the key for Glover, just like all the Gatemen pitchers, and just for any pitchers in general, first pitch strikes, he barely misses there. It's a really good first pitch.
Swinging on this one is Avant. On to the third baseman, Kasser. 2 quick outs here in the first.
You really like when guys like Glover can get ahead early in the count. He didn't right there, but it was, you know, it was a good performance by Glover so far through these first 2 outs. The key for him is to just throw good pitches and call a good game. Him and Willie McIver have to. Coach Don Sned and Coach Jim Lawler have talked about how they let these guys go out there and call their own games, unlike what Scott Pickler for YD did yesterday.
John Cresto, the DH. Pitch outside. .339, 3 home runs, 15 runs batted in for Cresto. And in Glover's last start, he let up 2 singles to start off versus Hyannis and then retired the next 3 batters. This time he's already got 2 quick outs. This one on to the third baseman, Kasser. And it's a 1-2-3 perfect inning for Justin Glover. So the Gatemen coming up next in the bottom of the first. You're watching Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
When you're sick or injured, you want care when and where it's convenient for you. South Coast Health Urgent Care has 4 locations: Fairhaven, Wareham, and now in Seekonk and Dartmouth. You can view wait times and even check in online at southcoast.org/urgentcare. Choose the time and location that's best for you. We'll even remind you when it's time to come in, and walk-ins are always welcome. Urgent care that exists to meet your needs. More than you expected? That's more than medicine. Check in at southcoast.org/urgentcare.
The Down East Lobster Roll combos are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Back here at Spillane Field, Jacob Toby along with Connor Federico. Let's take a look at the Wareham starting lineup. Stephen Kwan, the left fielder, bats first. Tanner Dotson is in center field. Kyle Kasser, the third baseman, bats third. Willie McIver, the catcher, bats fourth. Tristan Pompey, the DH. Luke Bonfield in right. Jaron Duran, the second baseman. Blake Sable at first, bats eighth. Ben Baird, the shortstop, bats ninth. Let's take a look at the defense for the Cotuit Cavaliers. Zach Cohn is at third, Chandler Avant, shortstop, Luke Alexander at second, Thomas Dillard at first, left to right, Brett Kinnaman, Miles Lewis, Griffin Conine, Ivan Gonzalez doing the catching for Zane Collins.
Zane Collins out of Wright State had a really good year for the Raiders in the Horizon League. He's come to Cotuit and he's been pretty impressive so far. He's got great stuff. His first time seeing these Gatemen hitters up on the hill, and two lefties going at it tonight.
Stephen Kwan in his debut yesterday versus the Whitey Red Sox. 2 for 3 as he pulls back the bunt and takes a strike. 2 for 3, RBI and a walk. You liked what you saw to him yesterday.
Yeah, and it was an impressive first performance in a Gateman uniform. He started the game off exactly what he just did, showing bunt, pulling it back.
Also scored a run in that game.
Yeah, and he might not drop a bunt here, but I think the purpose of it is to bring in the third baseman a little bit, get him on the grass, maybe slap one by him.
2 balls in, 1 strike to Kwan, who's making just his second appearance with the Gatemen this summer.
Yeah, Kwan's first base hit of his Gateman career came yesterday in the 3rd inning.
Grounds this one past the dive of the first baseman Dillard. And that's his 3rd hit of the season already in 2 games.
He's only been retired once. And he also has a walk so far, and he's been pretty good. But, I mean, going back to what he did last night, he slapped one down the third baseline just out of reach of the third baseman for YD, and that's sort of what he can bring for you. You have to be so worried about his speed, you might have to come up on the infield grass, and then he can just put one in the hole. This time he pulls this baseball.
Tanner Dotson, who has been red hot at the plate, batting .429, first pitch swinging, chops it to Cone at third. He'll just go to first on the run. Nice job there from the third baseman to retire Dotson. Kwan moves to second.
Yeah, now you have a runner in scoring position early in this baseball game. That's exactly the recipe for success for the Gatemen. Last night in the first inning, Kyle Kasser found himself grounding into a double play. This time he'll try to make it a little bit different. Speed all over the base pass right now for the Gatemen.
Kasser, .290, no home runs, 3 runs batted in, and 3 walks. He's got a runner at second base in Stephen Kwan. Breaking ball taken low, 1-0. Collins known not for his velocity, but for his sinking fastball that'll get a lot of ground ball outs.
Really good action on that breaking ball right there. Cone brings it near Kasser's shoulder and just drops it inside of the strike zone. He's got to be careful with it, though. If he hangs it up too high, he's going to get taken for a ride by one of these Gatemen.
Swung on and missed. There's that breaking ball once more.
Yeah, and that one had a little more velocity on it. You got to really like what you're seeing out of both these pitchers so far. I know Collins gave up a leadoff hit, and he's far from out of this first inning, especially with McIver and Pompey on deck, even Bonfield after that. The Gatemen lineup, it's just loaded from top to bottom.
Collins sets from the stretch. Here comes the 1-2. This one sent to left field, down the line, and it's foul.
Kwan will return to second, and he was thinking about definitely trotting on home on a ball like that. Just stays left of the third base line. But Kasser, it's not that he was late on that pitch. He saw it was on the outside corner and drove it in that direction.
Kasser, rather, so important to this, both offense and defense. So versatile.
Yeah, and he's got a really great arm, whether he's playing at third base or shortstop. Can't talk enough about what a contributor he's been.
Takes the 1-2, drops it high in the infield. Coming over is Dillard, flips to the pitcher, and Kasser beats it out. So first and third for the Gatemen with 1 out in the bottom of the first.
Well, Collins, the pitcher, got a late start going over to first base. I don't know whether he forgot or whether he tripped, but, man, he did a really good job at the end of the play recovering. I'm not sure if Kasser was out on that play, but the Gatemen will certainly take runners on the corners and 1 out for Willie McIver.
McIver, .338, 1 home run, 8 RBIs. Kwan, the runner, at third, Kasser at first. Collins' first pitch a bit low, 1-0. McIver tied fourth in the CCBL in hits with 23. Looking for his 24th, which would drive in Stephen Kwan. Swings this one. This will go foul.
Yeah, Kwan trying to get out of the way of that baseball. If it hits you and you're in foul territory, it's no harm, no foul. But if you're in fair territory, ball hits you, you're out. So he wasn't sure which way that ball was going, but just doing a good job of getting away from it. Willie McIver with 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. These are the kinds of situations where he is dangerous. And he had a double and scored a run in yesterday's game.
McIver with a chance to drive in a run here for the Wareham Gatemen. Sends this one on to the shortstop, Avant. It'll go to second for 1, to first. A double play. And that will end the inning. So the Gatemen can't bring a run across. No score from Spillane Field. Wareham Gatemen Baseball, you're watching it.
And 1 man left on base. Continuing with our corporate sponsors, we also want to recognize and thank
Listen to the game wherever you go with the Next Radio app. Catch this station's local broadcast or stream all the action right on your phone. Visit the Google Play Store and download the free Next Radio app today.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1991, holds over 600 events nationwide for players ages 8 through 18, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, plus 400 have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
Friendly's Restaurants, a timeless tradition since 1935, is proud to be the official ice cream of the Cape Cod Baseball League and bring together 2 of America's favorite pastimes, baseball and ice cream.
Justin Glover on for his 2nd inning of work. Welcome back to Spillane Field. Jacob Toby, along with Connor Federico, Claudia Chikamian on hand. We'll be hearing from her in a little bit. So no score from Spillane Field on July 4th night, even though it is July 3rd.
Yeah, but it's always great to celebrate the birth of this great nation.
What a great nation.
It gave us baseball, so as far as I'm concerned,
America's pastime.
That's as good as it gets.
Zach Cohn, Brett Kinnaman, and Luke Alexander to face Glover here. He went 1-2-3 versus the top of the order in the first.
Yeah, and he's been very impressive at the early start.
Features that breaking ball.
Well, Matt Feld said it on the broadcast last night, and he's absolutely accurate about the point that every lefty we seem to see on the Cape has a great changeup.
Kasser takes the hop, bounces off his glove, will not even try to throw over. And Cohn to first base. Well, we'll try to get an official score on that one. As of right now, Cohn reaches, and Brett Kinnaman, the left fielder, will step in.
The left fielder,
Kinnaman on the year, 264, 1 home run, and 9 RBIs.
It's going to be an error on Kyle Kasser after some deliberation here in the John Wild press box. It's a tough play for Kasser. Justin Glover still hasn't given up a base hit in this game. Both these starters today, Collins and Glover, have great changeups.
Second time they check Cohn over at first base.
Yeah, and you definitely have to. Cohn, the third baseman today, he plays some shortstop. Even though he's hitting in the 4 spot, he's got plenty of speed.
They pitch out, trying to entice Cohn, but nothing doing.
Yeah, and it's always hard to maybe even get a pick off at first base with a pitch out on the right side of the plate, rather, from the pitcher's perspective.
Kinnaman sends this one foul over the press box. Kinnaman tied second in the league in strikeouts with 21, so He's had an issue striking out so far here on the Cape.
Yeah, and that comes with time. I mean, you know, no matter what conference you're playing in during the spring season, coming to the Cape League, the pitching is nearly almost always an upgrade.
Sends this one foul.
And it makes it more difficult, especially here on the Cape where guys are coming from all over this country, you know, from the southeast to the California and the west. So you're not going to see some of these guys that you're facing on a regular basis, like your conference schedules or, you know, historic rivalries in your college schedules.
Check the runner, Cone again. Third time in this inning.
Plus the fact in college you play 3 or 4 game series, you know, on the weekdays and on the weekends, so you're going to get used to seeing a team in a certain lineup. Every night is a new opponent.
Framed by the catcher, McIver. Home plate umpire, Stephen Williams, not buying it. 2-2.
Every night on the Cape's a new opponent, except for the next 2 days for the Gatemen. They'll see the Bourne Braves both the 4th and the 5th.
2-2 to Brett Kinnaman. Sends this curveball into right field between Duran and Sable. And now it's first and second.
Yeah, and there was some frustration on Blake Sable's face over there at first base. He knew that if he hadn't had to hold the runner Cone on first base, he would have been there to field that ball cleanly. But because he started on first base, he just wasn't in position to make the play. It'll be a base hit for Kinnaman.
Luke Alexander, the second baseman, coming in. Coming in to field a possible bunt was Blake Sable. Sable really playing the field for the bunt here. Cone is at third, or rather second, and Kinnaman is at first. Two balls and no strikes to Alexander, who gets the bunt down. Glover will go to third with it, trying to tag out. The runner was Kasser, and he retires Cone.
Yeah, really good play. Heads up by Justin Glover. You know you have the force over there at third. Makes the throw over to Kasser, who, you know, third baseman, they're not accustomed to having to stretch to make a play over there at the bag. But he does, and just gets the lead runner Cone right in time.
Thomas Diller, the first baseman, 167, 1 home run, 4 runs batted in. 1 out in the second inning. Fouled off McIver, the catcher.
Yeah, and Glover and McIver are a great duo on the mound and behind the plate. You know, another, you know, they come from complete opposite ends of the country. McIver in Washington, Glover in Georgia, but they come here and they work together. And, you know, I think they both have a sense of Glover's stuff and how they're going to get themselves out of this jam, how to keep Glover's scoreless streak alive for the Gatemen here.
Dillard chips it foul. Dillard last night in Cotuit's 11-8 win versus Hyannis had a 2-run home run. Oh, he's coming off a good night.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of these Cotuit guys trying to hit home runs in batting practice today. That's not what you're going to get against Justin Glover. He is a ground ball pitcher. Through 6 batters, all of them have put the ball on the ground for either ground outs, one reached on an error, and then a single to the right side. That was also a ground ball, and another fielder's choice ground ball. So nobody's popped him up today.
0-2 from Glover, swung on and missed. Dillard goes down swinging for out number 2 here in the second inning. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard.
Really good action there by Glover, mixing up that changeup and that fastball. Wondering when we're going to see some of those other pitches that he has. But for now, just go with what's working. Ground balls and strikeouts. That's the key for pitchers in baseball.
Miles Lewis, just at 185 with an RBI so far. First pitch swinging, sends it out to right field. Coming over is Bonfield. Under it to make the catch and retire the side. So the Gatemen will head to the bats as Cotuit Cavaliers leave 2 runners on. We've got no score from Spillane Field. You're watching Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
We appreciate and thank the sponsors who support the Cape League and the 10 teams. Our corporate sponsors are the financial backbone of the league. It is with their support that we are able to preserve our long-standing tradition of providing the best family entertainment here on Cape Cod. On behalf of the visiting team, the Wareham Gatemen, league officers, and the entire Cape League family, we would like to announce and thank our 2017 corporate sponsors. With much appreciation, we recognize the Yawkey Foundation, Chatham Bars Inn, the Fuller Family Foundation, Dunkin' Donuts, Curry College, Cape Cod Healthcare, the 99 Restaurants, Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod, Cape Cod Potato Chips, Friendly's Ice Cream, Baseball Factory, Cape and Island License Plate, 47 Brand, Cape Cod 5 Cents Saving Bank, Stop and Shop, Peapod. We'll be back to you in the next inning for the second half of this outstanding list of loyal sponsors.
Back here at Spillane Field, Jacob Toby with Connor Federico. It'll be Tristan Pompey, Luke Bonfield, Jaron Duran for the Gatemen to face Zane Collins. Want to direct you to the Wareham Gatemen's Twitter page and our poll of the night. What is your favorite 4th of July food? You got 4 options. They are hot dogs, burgers, grilled sausages, and ice cream.
All very good options. I mean, the ice cream's sort of the wild card, maybe the dark horse, because you know, when you think of 4th of July, you'd normally think of the barbecue sort of stuff. But then you throw ice cream in there. I mean, who doesn't love ice cream?
Pompey, broken bat onto the shortstop of Vaught. Throws across the diamond for out number 1. I put my vote in. I went with burgers, and it's currently up 50% right now.
That's understandable. I mean, I know there's a difference between a hot dog and a sausage, but for the sake of the Twitter poll, I might have liked to see ribs make an appearance.
Oh, Matty Feld made the Twitter poll, so that's a conversation you best have with him.
We've talked about it. I mean, when I told him hot dog and sausage were too similar, he had no words for me. He just sort of stared at me blankly. I understand there is a difference, but there's other things. You know, maybe you could do sausage and have hot dogs be implied.
This is Luke Bonfield batting 200 clip, 1 home run, 8 runs batted in, 1 and 1 count.
The poll is the poll. And the Gatemen, they're here tonight. We'll see what kind of 4th of July food they'll get.
The Gatemen fans will speak the truth.
Yes.
As they did with last night's poll and the poll before that, which, of course, I'm sitting with our best-dressed media member champion.
It was the bow tie.
It's the best and then the worst. Right now, sitting in these 2 seats. I was
No, you were not
statistically the worst.
No.
I believe
Our producer
so.
Nick didn't get 1 vote.
Oh, yes, that's true. 1-2 sent off the top of the dugout of Cotuit.
That was sneaky dangerous.
Yeah, not a flinch by head coach Mike Roberts.
Or any of the bat boys over there for Cotuit. Very impressive. I'll tell you what, Bonfield's been impressive, though. He had a slow start for the Gatemen coming out of Arkansas. But since he's been here, he's really swinging the bat well. Really a model of consistency.
Collins tries the curveball inside, doesn't work. And you talk about Cotuit's head coach Mike Roberts, his 14th season. He actually coached for Wareham in 1984 and in 2000. And made the playoffs both years. So we know Spillane Field. 2-2 swung on and missed. Bonfield goes down for the second out of the inning.
Only the first time a Gateman has struck out, though. Gateman has struck out, though, and that's pretty impressive. And you know, they've gotten through most of their order. They have 2 singles in this game, just an inning-ending double play back in the first. I like what the Gatemen have done so far. Now you have Jaron Duran, who's in the 7 spot tonight. We've seen him at 1, 2, and 8. 7's interesting, but you know he can drive in runs if he gets the opportunity.
Duran, 235. No home runs, 2 runs batted in. He's at the plate with 2 outs. I gotta say, I have a lot of respect for their head coach, Mike Roberts. Last year, before the season, he lost his wife and really had to deal with that throughout the season. And speaking at the dinner, at the Cape League brunch, rather, before the season, he was just all emotional about it, and I have a lot of respect for him. They retired Duran. That'll end the inning. So 3 up, 3 down. And we're headed to the third pretty quickly here. Justin Glover back on the hill for the Wareham Gatemen. We'll be right back on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Continuing with our corporate sponsors, we also want to recognize and thank Franklin Sports, Advanced Embroidery, Cape Destinations, Robert B. R., Sullivan Tire, Vacation Inn Cape Cod, Cape Cod Veterinary Specialists, Cape Cod Times, Kinlan Grover Real Estate, Next Radio, Yellow Book, TSA, Rawlings, Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce, Highline Cruises, Sports Picks, On Deck Sports, Barnstable Bat, Hyannis Area Chamber of Commerce, HP Hood, Sunderland Printing, and Axis Bats. And of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends, staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgent-care.
Back at Spillane Field, Jacob Toby with Connor Federico. Hear from Claudia Chikamian in a little bit. It'll be Ivan Gonzalez, the 9-hitter for the Kettleers, to start it off. Then back to the top, Griffin Conine and Chandler Avant.
Yeah, 9, 1, and 2 here for Cotuit. This is a spot Glover could take advantage of.
Glover had a strikeout last inning, struck out Thomas Dillard. Only had 1 strikeout in his last outing versus Hyannis.
Well, what he does is get ground ball outs, and in his last start against Hyannis, the one where the Gatemen won pretty handily, you know, he really just trusted his defense.
This one set on a line, and making a nice grab is Duran. We've seen great defense from him in the past couple days, turning those 2 double plays yesterday.
Yeah, for sure, and he's got tremendous talent with the glove and at the plate. You know, we just saw him ground out his first time up, but if Duran doesn't have the kind of speed that he does, he doesn't make that play. He was pretty up towards second base.
Griffin Conine grounded out to Duran at second base his first time up.
We always have to make sure we emphasize Conine, Jacob, because the Gatemen, they have Brett Conine for the 2nd straight year.
Conine 10th in the league in batting average coming into today, .349. Goes down just a tick with him being 0 for 1 today so far. Two balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, when Glover misses, he narrowly misses, and that's the impressive part about it. It almost seems like strikes to these Cotuit hitters. Not that one.
Of course, you know, when you point something out, it just goes the complete opposite direction.
The announcer's jinx, it's true. It's a real thing.
Here comes the 3-1 pitch. Conine sends it to right field on a line. So a 1-out single for Conine. And that'll bring up Chandler Avant.
Yeah, only 2 hits today for the Cotuit Cavaliers. Both of them have been out towards right field, first a ground ball, and then that line drive at Bonfield sort of took a funny hop on him. Wonder if there's a little divot out there in the outfield, or if that ball had some funky spin.
Avant grounded out to third base. Kyle Kasser, his first time up. Avant last night, 2 for 5. He had a home run and 2 runs scored.
This Cotuit lineup has been impressive this season. They're 9-9 on the season, just a game better than the Gatemen. Gatemen fans might not realize, though, considering that Wareham defeated them 11-0 at their place, and they're hoping to maybe put another hurting like that on Cotuit tonight if these bats can get it together.
Yeah, Wareham scored 11 runs in that game. Cotuit then scores 11 runs versus Hyannis last night. They've got the 3rd most runs in the league at 91.
That was a wild game.
Yeah, Cotuit yesterday, 5 errors. Still got the win, though. Each player in their lineup got a hit for the first time this season.
Wow, very cool. The Gatemen have done that. I think it was against Cotuit they did that.
2-1 sent foul from Avant. 2 balls and 2 strikes with Conine the runner at first and 1 out in the inning.
Going through my records, it was against Cotuit, the 11-0 that the Gatemen, they had 16 hits on the day, I believe, and each member 1 through 9 of the starting lineup had a base hit.
Glover's 2-2. Bit inside, now the count runs full, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
That's what I mean about narrowly missing. I mean, each pitch that he throws, it's hard not to swing at him, especially on 2 strikes when you're supposed to protect the strike zone. Swing at anything close, try to foul it off.
They check Conine.
As they should, 3-2, 1 out. Cotuit, they definitely want to get something in motion here. Might see a hit and run. Duran already shading towards second base. That 3-4 gap is wide open on the right side.
Time called at the plate. Glover took a second, more than he usually does, to deliver that pitch.
Yeah, and when you see that the pitcher's feeling a little too comfortable, always a great thing to do for a hitter is just call time and get him out of his funk and start over.
3-2 sent foul. Runner was going on the 3-2 count, per usual.
And Conine will probably go again. Glover, as a lefty, doesn't have a great pickoff move just because his front foot, when he goes at the plate, when he pitches at the plate, you can always tell when he's going to the plate because his front foot immediately moves towards the dish. His pickoff move is fairly obvious.
Playing games over here with Conine.
Well, and for visiting ball players to Spillane Field, you have that sort of rubber gravel combination in the dirt infield.
And Avant will head down to first base with a walk. Conine to second. And also, if you're at first base with the sun right now, the sun's in your eyes, so that's also a disadvantage.
Yeah, and I'm sure Conine is a bit more tired than he was when he originally went on first base, and that's just the name of the game here at Spillane. I'm surprised we don't see more pickoff moves from the Gatemen, considering what a beating it is for a runner to have to slide back in, face first. And if he doesn't, you're going to pick him off.
Cresto with an opportunity here, 2 runners on and 1 out, takes a first pitch strike. Cresto, we talk about those 5 errors for Cotuit last night. He had 3 of them in his first game at first base yesterday.
DHing tonight, maybe rightfully so.
Well, you see those struggles sometimes with players playing first-time positions here in the Cape, especially. Saw McIver have an error on his first day at first. Glover's 1-1. Framed nicely and taken for a strike.
I was thinking the exact same thing, but, you know, again, it's not like that pitch was far off the plate. Just a good job by McIver, making that one seem like it crossed the black on the outside corner. Maybe it did. It's hard to see from here.
Glover's 1-2. Sent right back to the fence.
Coach Jim Lawler, the pitching coach, has been working a lot with McIver on his defensive stuff as a catcher, you know, when to snap up and throw the pickoff or caught stealing. We've seen McIver do that several times this summer, and also framing pitches. It's just a very underrated part of a catcher's entire game.
Glover trying to get set on the mound here, facing Cresto, who is 0 for 1 with a ground out to Kasser at third. 2 runners on. Here comes the 1-2. Sent down the left field line, roping foul. Yeah, I was talking to McIver, believe it was during BP at the Cotuit game, and I asked him how you transitioning from third to catcher, and he said, I'm having a blast. I'm transitioning really well, and it seems so.
Well, that's what his Washington coaches sent him here to do. You know, he played third base primarily for the Huskies this spring. You know, coaches want their guys to play summer ball so they can come back better, learn something new.
So Cresto now, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Conine's the runner at second. He reached on a single. Avant got walked.
Glover, he would love to get a little roll-em-up double play to end the inning right now. Just trust your defense. Get a ground ball out. He can do it.
2-2, and nice at bat here from Cresto, staying alive. 3 straight foul balls.
Yeah, when you get a succession of pitches like that where they're hard to put in play and do something with except foul the pitch off, it's just nice to put a little swing on it and foul it back, live to fight another pitch, hope the pitcher will make a mistake. That was the name of the game for the Gatemen and Jake Anchia yesterday against the YD Red Sox and Stanford's Chris Bubich.
Glover's 2-2, bounces in the dirt. Nice block from McIver.
And if that ball had bounced the other way down the first baseline, we're definitely talking about Conine standing on third with 1 out. Instead, he knows the situation and he blocks that ball off to the left side, lets it roll, makes sure Conine can see it so he doesn't take off, and if he did, he would have been thrown out by a couple of steps.
Situation is Conine at second, Avant at first, 1 out, 3 balls and 2 strikes to John Cresto. Rips this one to Baird, goes right through his legs, rounding third. Coming to score is Conine. To third goes Avant, to second, and gunned down is Cresto for the second out of the inning. Nevertheless, a run does score. Conine comes home from second, 1-0 in favor of the Kettleers.
Well, a lot just went on there, and narrow throw at third base, but, you know, Ben Baird at shortstop, he had to range a long way to his right to even get a glove on that. I think he was just thinking double play a little bit too early, thinking about transitioning the ball from his glove, running away from second base and turning it over there. Even if he had gotten the glove on the ball, it would have been a tough play, even for 1 out. It's ruled an E6 and no RBI for Cresto.
Zach Cohn, the third baseman, who reached on an error back in the second, is at the plate.
That out at second base was huge for the Gatemen.
Breaking ball drops in, 1-1, with the runner at third being Chandler Avant.
Yeah, and he worked his way on base by getting a walk, and that's pretty uncharacteristic for Glover. Give up 1 run here. Not a lot of called strikes today for Glover. You know, when the pitch is over the plate, the Kettleers have certainly been swinging at it. And then he's also not been getting those calls on the blacks of the plate. Nice to get that one.
1-2. Swung on and missed. Ring 'em up, says Justin Glover. Gets out of the inning, does let up 1 earned run. That strikeout brought to you, rather an unearned run. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. So Glover gets out of the inning, but it is 1-0 Cotuit. You're watching Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
The Sacred Cod Tavern at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa, a quintessential New England dining experience for lunch or dinner, a proud member of leading hotels of the world. Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 17 seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for top-notch baseball training. With over 600 events nationwide for players age 8 to 18 and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
It's back. The 2017 Friendlies Cape League All-Star Game will be played at Spillane Field, home of the Wareham Gatemen. Mark the date on your calendar, Saturday, July 22nd. Game time is 6 p.m., but the gates open at 2 p.m. One highlight will be the home run hitting contest. There will also be an autograph session and a large merchandise village with items from many of the teams. Be sure to buy your tickets now right here at the merchandise stand. Tickets are just $5, and part of the proceeds will support our Wareham Gatemen.
Gatemen Baseball Network would like to remind you that you can contact us anytime at pressbox@gatemen.org. Please feel free to send us your questions or comments, and we'll make sure to address them as soon as possible. Make sure you're keeping up with all the Gatemen action 24/7 by following Wareham Gatemen on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Don't forget SoundCloud also.
Well, that's where we put all of our radio highlights, but the Gatemen haven't had a road game in quite a while, finishing out this 3-game homestand tonight.
Jacob Toby alongside Connor Federico, 1-0 in favor of the Kettleers. Blake Sable at the plate for his first AB of the night. Count is even, 1 ball and 1 strike. Sable 204 has that lone home run at Hyannis. 4 runs batted in.
Yeah, we haven't seen him do much since that home run, but it is a great defensive first baseman for the Gatemen. You really have to appreciate what he's been doing over there. He's, out of all these catchers, he's got the size to do it, and he can pick balls out of the dirt, too. I think he's been great.
He's made a great transition from behind the plate to down the first baseline. Chops this one just above the Wareham dugout.
Yeah, and, really good job by Sable fouling off that pitch. 2-2 right now. You live to fight another pitch, and that's what we've been talking about with both the Gatemen and the Kettleers today.
It'll be Sable, the 8-hitter, Ben Baer, the shortstop, then back to the top, Stephen Kwan. Collins' 2-2 pitch, whiffed at by Blake Sable, so 1 out in the inning. What's your favorite 4th of July food? Go to the Wareham Gatemen Twitter page and vote. Your options: hot dog, hamburgers, grilled sausage, ice cream. I voted burgers.
I'm also going to vote burger. It's just a 4th of July classic, and right now it has a big lead, 52% of just around 30 votes. Have an hour and 52 minutes left to vote on that.
Ben Baird, 152 on the season, no home runs, 3 runs batted in. He's just a solid defensive player.
For sure, and that ground ball that just got away from him over at shortstop, top half of this frame, I'm sure he's frustrated by it, and now he knows what he can do to make up for it is by being solid the rest of the game at shortstop and working tonight at the plate. He's struggled at the beginning of the season, only got a few hits and 25-plus at-bats. He's been good since, but not, swinging at a ball like that outside of the strike zone and pulling your head out.
1-2 the count. Zane Collins in his 3rd inning of work. His team up 1-0. Collins 1-2. Very close. Stephen Williams, home plate umpire, not buying it.
I'm surprised Baird held up on that pitch. It was close. A good attempt at a backdoor breaking ball. The lefty Collins dealing to the righty Baird. Just missed.
2-2 pitch. Inside, and the count runs full.
Baird doing a great job of working this count full. He was down 1-2 took a couple bad hacks, and now he's a pitch away from walking, and his speed would be greatly appreciated on the base paths right now for the Gatemen. They only trail by 1.
Here comes the 3-2. Back-to-back strikeouts in this inning for Zane Collins on that breaking ball. 2 gone.
Yeah, and he's got really impressive stuff, really good control of it. You know, proving he belongs here at the Cape League, coming out of a small baseball school like Wright State in Ohio, famously named for the Wright brothers, first in aviation. A great American story. Fitting here on 4th of July night.
I was going to say, nice holiday story. Quan takes a strike. Yeah, Collins, 6'2", 220-pound left-handed pitcher. He's a rising junior. Had a 1.86 ERA, or rather has a 1.86 ERA here on the Cape so far.
If we were playing cricket, that would have bounced in for a strike.
5th appearance for Collins today. Made his last appearance on June 27th in the 3-0 win at White House Field, and Harwich went 4 1/3 innings, didn't give up a run, struck out 4 batters. This one sent up in the air to right. Coming out is Alexander, the second baseman, giving way to his right fielder, Griffin Conine, and it's a 1-2-3, bottom of the 3rd inning. So the Gatemen can't answer, they can't score. It's still 1-0 Cotuit. You're listening and watching Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
The Fuller Family Foundation is proud to support the excellent sportsmanship and character of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
The Wareham Gatemen and the visiting team, the Cape Cod Baseball League, and the NCAA promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation and positive support of the participants and officials. Profanity, racial or sexist comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from this ballpark.
Pitching change here for the Wareham Gatemen. Justin Glover, his night is done. 3 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 run that's not earned, a walk and 2 Ks. Noah Zavalis out of Harvard coming in for the Gatemen.
Yeah, and a guy who he'll be a senior for the Crimson next year. He had a good season in the Ivy League, and now he comes play for the Gatemen. Didn't grow up too far from here, just north of Boston in Acton, Mass. And he pitched a little bit before with the Gatemen in the 2016 season, was a tryout player, didn't make the full roster team, and then came back towards the end of the season and had a really impressive appearance in early August for the Gatemen.
Brett Kinnaman, the left fielder, will have his crack at Zavalis. It's Kinnaman, Alexander, and Dillard. And a first pitch strike thrown from Zavalis. Last saw him versus that Falmouth Commodores team. Went 3 innings and, well, 3 Ks.
Quick trip around the Cape League for you. We've got a final already. It's only 7:15, but Orleans has defeated the Brewster Whitecaps at Stony Brook Field.
Wow.
3-0. That was a quick game. Yeah.
2 hours, 5 minutes.
And our game, I thought it was really quick last night. That lasted just over 2 hours and 20 minutes. Moving over to Arnie Allen Diamond in Falmouth. The Bourne Braves have a 3-1 advantage over the Falmouth Commodores. That one is a fight for first place. If Bourne can win it, they'll be tied up with Falmouth at the top of the West Division.
0-2 from Zavalis. Rather, the 1-2 bounces in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Our only interdivision matchup tonight between the East and the West. Hyannis, they're representing the West. They're currently behind to the Harwich Mariners 3-1. Those teams are both in last place in their respective divisions. Gatemen probably hoping for a Hyannis loss.
2-2 foul to the backstop.
And then in Chatham, the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox and the Chatham A's have a 0-0 tie right there. And back to this game, 1-0 lead for Cotuit.
Zavalis on the hill, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Brett Kinnaman is the batter. Here comes the pitch. Swung on and missed. First batter, ring him up, Noah Zavalis. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard.
Really good stuff from Zavalis, and the last time we saw him, he came in through a scoreless 5th, 6th, and 7th, 9 up, 9 down, not to mention that he struck out 3 straight batters in the 8th inning, all looking, by the way. He's got great stuff.
Luke Alexander, swing and miss.
Not sure about the exact speeds. We don't have a gun with us here tonight, Jacob, but Zavalis looks like he's thrown the hardest fastball out of any of the pitchers so far.
Zavalis, of course, his second summer here on the Cape. Made a couple appearances for the Gatemen last summer. Worked his way into a full contract this summer. Nice story, local kid. Out of Acton, went to Acton Boxborough High School. But not like a lot of other Gatemen pitchers. He's not even over 6 feet. He's 5'11".
Yeah, and you know, you don't need to be tall to be a pitcher. That's just a sort of new phenomenon in the last 5 or 10 years.
Back-to-back strikeouts. Caught looking, Luke Alexander. 2 gone. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard.
Just again, really good job by Noah Zavalis locating that fastball. You know, these guys, they get to call their own game, and Zavalis, he might use the fastball just a little bit too much, but he has not gotten burned with it so far in this Cape League summer. It's really impressive. There's the off-speed.
Thomas Dillard, the first baseman who struck out swinging back in the second, 1 of 2 strikeouts for Justin Glover.
Guys come all over the country for the Cape League. You know, you mentioned Zavalis, a local. He's facing an Oxford, Mississippi native here in Dillard.
2 very different places.
Very. Have you ever been to Oxford, Mississippi?
I've never been past New York City.
Oh, in terms of going south?
Yes, in terms of going anywhere. 2-1.
Fastball's at 90 miles an hour for Zavalis, so maybe not the fastest one we've seen tonight. We know Justin Glover can hit about 92, 93, but it really looks good. Hitters are baffled by it.
2-1 sent foul. Zavalis was his high school's MVP back in 2013 and 2014. Two balls and 2 strikes to Thomas Dillard. Chopped foul within the box.
Good at bat here by Dillard, trying to prevent the Kettleers from going 1, 2, 3, trying to prevent Savalas from striking out the side, just like he did in his last appearance. Guy wearing 52 in white right now for the Gatemen. He's got a ton of confidence running through his veins, and he's really showing it.
2 balls and 2 strikes to the first baseman, Thomas Dillard. Rockets it foul off the school. Duck your head.
And back onto the field. Kyle Kasser picking it up right now at the third base position. Count remains 2-2 though, no matter how hard Dillard hit that one. Man, lucky there's no broken windows. Wareham High School built
strong.
Built with strength, yeah.
We'll do the 2-2 again. Nice at bat here from Dillard. He's fouling it off a couple times.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you do. I mean, Coach Don Sneddon, he described Stephen Kwan as a pest. You know, that's not the type of player that Tom Dillard is, but that's the kind of at-bat he's having right now. Savalas probably thought he should have been out of this inning a couple of pitches ago.
Yeah, Don Sneddon calling Kwan a pest in the
nicest
post-game
of
interview.
ways.
Yes, exactly. 2-2 pitch. And now that was apparently, oh no.
Get back
We're
here,
right.
Thomas Dillard.
Get back in the box.
Where
3
do you
balls and
think
2 strikes.
He probably thought that, he probably had a short memory of all those foul balls.
That's
probably
possible.
thought there was a third.
See, I thought I messed up.
I thought everybody here messed up. We've got 2-2 on our scoreboard on Gatemen Baseball Network. 2-2 up on the scoreboard here at Spillane Field.
Now everyone knows it's 3-2. Here it comes. He'll go down to first base to no avail.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you foul off a bunch of good pitchers. You're eventually going to see some mistakes, some balls down in the dirt. Pitcher's going to try to get you to chase, and Savalas, after throwing maybe 5 or 6 strikes in that at-bat, you know, 4 balls puts a guy on base no matter what the situation is.
Miles Lewis flew out to right field. Luke Bonfield to end the inning. Lewis yesterday 1 for 4. Struck out 2 times versus Hyannis.
Really nice crowd on hand here at Spillane tonight. Got some overflow into the left field bleachers,
which you will see packed for the All-Star game on the 22nd of July. To left field, right in front of Stephen Kwan.
Yeah, good job of just slapping that ball the other way by Miles Lewis. He gets sort of jammed inside, has the strength, even with the wood bat, to push it the other way. Nothing Kwan could do about that in left field, and Savalas might be a little frustrated, but he's keeping his held hep high, and now he's got the 9 batter here. You have to get this out. You do not want to face Griffin Conine with the bases loaded or even more of a troubling situation.
Gonzalez lined out to Jaron Duran. Nice play at second base. Defensively. So Dillard at second, Lewis at first. There are 2 outs in the inning. Kasser will go right to second base, get the force out. He'll retire Lewis to end the inning. So the Kettleers can't score. Noah Savalas comes in, strikes out a pair, and the Gatemen head to the bats. Still 1-0 Cotuit.
Do you know what that sound is? That's your new digital marketing department. And that'll be your new web designer. And that's Haibu, where these experts are joined by many more, from web designers to search marketing specialists who work hard to get your business noticed online and on mobile. Best of all, Haibu can do it all for you, or give you the tools to do it yourself. To find out more, go to haibu.com. That's HIBU.com, or call 855-464-HIBU. Oh, that'll be your next new customer. Haibu, made for business.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. This special weekly celebration of Red Shirt Fridays is sponsored by 47 Brand, HP Hood, Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority, Advanced Embroidery, and the Cape League. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
Gatemen Baseball Network would like to remind you, yes, you can connect us anytime by emailing pressbox@gatemen.org. Please feel free to send us your questions, comments, concerns. We'll make sure to address them as soon as possible. Also, follow the Gatemen 24/7, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Jacob Toby, Connor Federico. We'll be hearing from Claudia Chikamian in a little bit with head coach Don Snedden. It's Tanner Dotson to lead it off. First pitch swinging right to Avant. One pitch, one out.
Very small play right there by Dotson, but it's actually, I think he almost got robbed of a single. That ball took a weird sort of hop off the right part of the pitcher's mound, and it bounced right towards the shortstop, Avant. That could have been a base hit up the middle just as easily.
Dotson 0 for 2 on the day. He's grounded out twice to the left side of the infield. Kyle Kasser reached on a single his first time up.
You know, even when they can't get the leadoff guy on now, the Gatemen are never out of innings. With 2 outs, we've seen what they can do. All 4 runs against the YD Red Sox yesterday, coming with 2 outs and nobody on. Just a couple 2-out rallies. Change the course of a baseball game.
Gatemen right now struggling to score, but last game, a 5-run top of the second for the Gatemen.
Yeah, and that was an impressive inning for them. It really put Cotuit out of the game early.
They had a 5-run inning, a 4-run inning. Just an offensive explosion.
Every pitching situation is different. Every lineup is a bit different. You know, Stephen Kwan was not here for that last game against Cotuit.
1-2, chop foul, says first base umpire Nick DeMarchi.
Just barely. Almost an extra base hit for Kyle Kasser right there. I don't believe Tristan Pompey was in the lineup against Cotuit, so, you know, it's a little bit different. Gatemen also got some help in the game against Cotuit last time with some passed balls by catcher Thomas Dillard, who is playing first base tonight.
Check swing from Kasser. They say yes, he did, but he'll go down to first base as Gonzalez lost the baseball all the way over to the Cotuit dugout. So striking out is Kasser, but he'll reach on the pass ball.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody ever tries to get a drop third strike on purpose, but it worked out well for Kasser right there.
I stand corrected. Wild pitch.
Okay.
So now Willie McIver's got a man on first base and Kyle Kasser with 1 out in the inning.
And usually guys don't want the umpire to think that they went around on a check swing. In that case, Kyle Kasser ran down to first base immediately, didn't even wait for an appeal.
Runner goes, they pitch out, throw down to second base is in time. Kasser gunned down by the catcher Gonzalez. 2 outs.
Great throw by Ivan Gonzalez right there. He did not start against the Gatemen in the 11-0 victory for Wareham just a couple of days ago. He came in as a defensive replacement. Shows off his arm right there. I think McIver was supposed to get that bunt down. I think that's what Kasser was banking on. Instead, he's left hanging and gunned down by a mile.
That's the 5th time a Gatemen runner's been gunned down, trying to steal a base. They do, rather, McIver is second in the league in stolen bases, 7.
Well, he has 8.
Rather, 8.
We're still waiting on the updated statistic.
That's the thing. I texted Matt Feld last night saying, doesn't he have 8? And he said yes. And I said, all right, well, we'll have to wait on the point streak people. But for right now, I guess officially it's still 7.
It is.
If not, he would then no longer be tied for second.
Well, you know the phrase numbers never lie, Jacob.
I do.
Sometimes they do.
Collins 2-1 to McIver.
Another situation where the Gatemen hitters are robbed from a base hit by the foul line. The Gatemen have fouled more balls off barely to the sides of each line than they have gotten fair ball calls down the lines. Home ballpark's supposed to help you. Ultimately, a foul ball's a foul ball.
McIver grounded into a 6-4-3 double play to end the first. He's trying to extend this inning. 2 outs. Here comes Collins 2-2. On to Avant. He's been busy over there. Retires McIver to end the inning. Gatemen still looking for a run. We head to the 5th. Cotuit up 1-0. You're watching Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. We are proud supporters of the CCBBL as well as many other wonderful Cape Cod organizations that serve our community.
Welcome back. Claudia came in with head coach Don Sneddon. Coach, what did you think of Justin Glover's performance, and why did he only go 3 innings today?
He had a little injury with his knee. We don't want to take any precautions, so we just took him out of the game on that. We don't want to have him go out there and pitch with any sort of any pain or anything like that. I think he's okay, but we just didn't want to take a chance.
And what are you expecting to see Noah Zavalis do today, even though he went in earlier than usual?
Yeah, he'll throw strikes. That's what he does. So he just got to mix it up a little bit, and he's done that for us this summer. So he's just got to do the same thing, keep us close till we can get a run.
And is there anything you can say right now about Glover's injury, or is it just kind of you'll look at it later?
I have no idea. You know, it's just he had a little bit of a twinge in there on fielding that bunt, and so we don't think it's anything serious. But again, we're being very cautious with that. Anytime a player says something there, we get him out of there and we'll have it looked at.
And what is Collins doing that's making it so hard for your players to get hits today?
Well, he's throwing a breaking ball over and again consistently, so give him credit.
Great, thanks, Coach. Back to you guys.
Right fielder number 9, Griffin Conine.
Back here at Spillane Field, Jacob Toby with Connor Federico. Thank you, Claudia. And got some news there. Justin Glover taken out due to a precautionary injury.
Well, it doesn't look like anybody's looking at him right now, so he's probably doing all right. But, yeah, you definitely want to be careful about it. And the Gatemen, they certainly have the pitching staff in the bullpen that, you know, if a guy only can go 3 innings after pitching pretty successfully, they have the guys to back him up.
Ivan Gonzalez quickly down 0-2. We saw Zavalis come in last inning and strike out the first 2 batters he faced. Leadoff hitter Griffin Conine at the plate. Conine is 1 for 2. Singled and came around to score back in the 3rd.
Yeah, and we knew about him. I mean, he certainly has the impressive bat that all the scouts here at the Cape League want to see this summer.
1-2, right into the Wareham dugout.
He's taken some big home run swings today, and this is his 2nd appearance since being back from the college home run derby.
Is that a result of that, possibly?
Well, yes, definitely, because your swing has to change entirely. You're putting a lot of weight on your back foot and leaning, trying to lift the ball out of the park.
Doesn't chase. They appeal, and Saying no is the third base umpire, Sam Finn.
Yeah, but we've sort of seen it happen to Tristan Pompey, too. I know, talking to Coach Sneddon, that's something that they've really been trying to get him to work on, you know, just slap the ball for a base hit. That's the mentality of this team anyway.
Cotuit's last championship back in 2013, they beat the Orleans Firebirds. Most titles in CCBL history, 16.
A lot of history there in Cotuit. Winning their last championship a year after the Gatemen did.
2-2 sent foul.
Look out.
Well, yeah, a lot of people like Lowell Park as their favorite here on the Cape. It's a good one. No lights, though. Remember that?
I was a fan, but not a ton of seating. You know, that's something that Spillane Field has here more than any ballpark in the Cape League does.
2-2. No contact made. Swung on and missed. Conine goes down swinging for the first out here in the fifth. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard.
Zavalis' third strikeout in an inning and a third. He's really been good, and you know, we saw Justin Glover more trust his defense, get the ground ball outs. Zavalis, he prefers doing it himself with strikeout, working hitter's eye level.
First pitch hacking is Chandler Avant. Well, that's what Zavalis does. He led Harvard in strikeout to walk ratio this past season.
And he doesn't walk many people, and that's why I was surprised when he sent Thomas Dillard on a free pass back in the fourth inning. He ultimately was not hurt by that walk, but uncharacteristic of him. And Justin Glover, he also gave up a walk in this game back in the third.
Well, the Gatemen pitching staff in general just doesn't walk anyone. Coming in with the least amount of strikeouts given out, or rather the least amount of walks given out. That was 41. They have 44 now, which still is at the top of the league.
It's a really impressive stat.
0-2. Can I help you, sir? No thanks, just looking. Chandler Avant down for the second out of the inning. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard.
From Santa Clara.
Thank you for that.
Did I put a smile on your face?
I'm still smiling.
Thank you.
I mean, it's hard not to smile when you're at a beautiful night here at Spillane Field. 85 degrees was the temperature at first pitch. Slight breeze, 11 miles per hour out towards right field. That's going southwest. And 45-degree humidity.
Rocking this one is Cresto on the first pitch he sees for a two-out single.
Yeah, first single for Cresto in today's game. He reached on an E6 back in the third, grounded out back in the first. He has that kind of potential in his bat, and that's why he's hitting in the three-hole.
Baseman number 26, Zach Cohn from Duke.
Zach Cohn, a Duke Blue Devil. I say that because, well, you go to Syracuse. Any rivalry there?
Well, I mean, lots of Syracuse fans think that there is, at least new ones anyway. I prefer our old rivalries from the Big East Conference with Georgetown and Villanova and
You
St.
haven't
John's.
gone off against on the Big East Conference yet. We know that's your passion.
I'm only 20, but I might as well be 50 or 60 years old.
Connor Federico, you think Big East Conference. Right to Baird. Nice play. Flips on a second. Ends the inning. Very nice from Ben Baird. So we'll head to the bottom of the fifth. Still 1-0 Cotuit. You're watching Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all that they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu. It's back. The 2017 Friendlies Cape League All-Star Game will be played at Spillane Field, home of the Wareham Gatemen. Mark the date on your calendar, Saturday, July 22nd. Game time is 6 p.m., but the gates open at 2 p.m. One highlight will be the home run hitting contest. There will also be an autograph session and a large merchandise village with items from many of the teams. Be sure to buy your tickets now right here at the merchandise stand. Tickets are just $5, and part of the proceeds will support our Wareham Gatemen.
Gatemen trying to tie this game up at 1. Jacob Toby, Connor Federico, Claudia Chikamian, our producer Nick Veronesi on hand tonight. Maddie Feld on hand as well.
Always giving us those helpful stories and statistics, like telling us that Tanner Dodson's warming up in the bullpen. Thank you, Matt.
I'm sure we'll be hearing from him at some point later on.
We'll hear from him in the postgame.
Pompey at the plate, batting from the right side. High chopper. Avant, nice pick. Down to first. And in time. He has been very busy today at shortstop.
Yeah, and he's been really good. He's retired 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys, and that includes starting a 6-4-3 inning double play that prevented the Gatemen from scoring a run back in the first. Really solid at shortstop tonight. We saw Zach Cohn at shortstop the first time that the Gatemen and the Kettleers played. Cohn was pretty good, but Avant's been perfect.
Luke Bonfield sat on that pitch right to Cohn at third. 2 very quick outs here in the 5th.
Yeah, the defense is just so good here in the Cape League that it seems like nearly every ground ball is almost an automatic out. I was starting to write in my scorebook before Bonfield was even retired over there at first. Just really great hitters, defensive players, pitchers. You know, it's almost cliched at this point, but it's the Cape League. This is where the best of the best come to play.
And that's on the scouting report. If you read it, Collins, it's ground ball pitcher, and he has lived up to that reputation so far. First pitch strike thrown to Jaron Duran, who's 0 for 1.
Yeah, and Duran almost beat out an infield base hit, and you know, Collins did a really good job of getting over there to cover the bag and beat the speedy Jaron Duran. He knows what's going on. That's all you can ask from your pitcher. You know, have these guys scouted out a little bit. In a summer league, just know what their strengths are, know what their weaknesses are. Attack the weaknesses and protect against the strengths. And I think that's what Zane Collins has been doing really well for Cotuit tonight.
Pitch bounces, 2-1.
You know, Jaron Duran in this 7 spot for the first time tonight, and I almost like him down at the bottom of the lineup. He can provide you with a burst of speed in between Luke Bonfield and Blake Sable. That's just how it lines up tonight. And he can definitely knock in some runs, but the Ducks haven't been on the pond for him.
Gotta put the Ducks on the pond to get runs.
Yes, and I mean, that's when the Gatemen struggle offensively for 2 reasons. One, they get runners on, and then they don't end up bringing them around, or they just aren't getting the runners on in the first place. Right now, only 2 hits in this game.
2-2 to Duran, does just that, gets on base. A-OK, 2 outs.
And the 3rd hit of the game for the Gatemen coming from Jaron Duran right there. With 2 outs, just like you said, I mean, this might be the start of something, and Blake Sable, we haven't seen an RBI from him in a little bit. This could be an opportunity. Send Duran on a stolen base attempt. I know the catcher Rodriguez just nailed Kyle Kasser an inning ago, but Duran's in a whole different animal.
Duran's Duran.
Oh, come on.
Ah.
He's probably hungry like a wolf for a stolen base.
And you mentioned Gatemen batters having trouble getting on base. Well, they had the 2nd lowest on-base percentage coming into tonight. But Durant does the job. But there are 2 outs in the inning, and Blake Sable coming up. Waiting the 1-0.
Really early on that pitch, expecting fastball 1-0. I don't know why. Usually that's a count that you go to a changeup or something off speed. The one time we didn't see that last night was in 1-0 fastball to Jake Anchia that he sent near the bleachers over there in left field.
Ball bounces, going to second base is Duran with no problem. Rounding second, thought about third. But he'll stop at second base.
Smartly retreats, and you know, when you have speed like Duran's and there's 2 outs, you're scoring on a base hit no matter what, because you're taking off immediately, and then no one is ever going to gun down Jarren Duran at home plate if he's got a nice burst of speed. Just a base hit, that's all Blake Sable needs right now to tie up this ball game.
That one scored a wild pitch. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Blake Sable with 2 outs. Time called at home plate.
Only the second time in this game that the Gatemen have gotten a runner in scoring position. The first time was back in the first inning for Stephen Kwan, who touched home plate, but it didn't count on a Willie McIver double play.
Second time Sable's been fooled of that breaking ball and swings and misses.
Yeah, he's taking big hacks right now there at the dish, batting from the left side, as he always does. Just like to see him keep his head in there. Expect fastball, but adjust to a breaking ball.
2-2. Called strike 3, and Blake Sable is retired. The Gatemen leave a runner on second base. They still can't score a run. They're trailing 1-0. Cotuit on top. You are watching Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
All-Star Game Weekend starts with a celebrity softball game on July 21st at McKeon Park in Hyannis. Come watch Jason Veritek, Bill Lee, Nancy Kerrigan, Scott Zolak, and other celebrities play ball in support of the Cape Cod Baseball League and Spalding Rehabilitation Hospital of Cape Cod. Gates open at 4 p.m. For more information and to buy tickets, go to allstarcapecod.org. That's allstarcapecod.org.
Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Cape Cod employs more than 50 full-time employees and more than 25 seasonal. Every year, more than 15 college students get great experience and support their education by working at Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod. Reward yourself. Have a Coke.
Don't forget, the Gatemen Baseball Network would like to remind you to contact us anytime. Email us at pressbox@gatemen.org. Questions, comments, concerns, we'll address them as soon as possible. Follow the Gatemen 24/7, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud.
Don't forget about that Twitter poll we have going tonight. We're trying to do Twitter polls just about every night, and we're sticking with the 4th of July theme tonight. What is your favorite holiday weekend food? Is it a burger, a hot dog, a grilled sausage, very specific, or ice cream, not so specific?
Kinnaman takes a first pitch strike. Kinnaman last night 1 for 4 versus Hyannis with a strikeout. Second in the league in strikeouts. Has one tonight. And he's quickly down 0-2.
Yeah, and this is the key for Zavalas, throwing first pitch strikes. He's very good at it. And, you know, when he gets ahead of a count, then he can start playing with that off-speed stuff, throwing some pitches out of the zone, try to get you to chase.
All right, Hot Dog is making a comeback. They're at 32%. Burger's still at 45%.
I feel like if you asked the general American public which is better, a burger or a hot dog, burger would be chosen more often.
1-2. See you later. Kinnaman down swinging. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. And that is strikeout number 5 for Noah Zavalis.
He's been very impressive, and this is what his game is all about. You talked about that stat at Harvard. He had the best strikeout to walk ratio. That's just, it's what he does. He wants to take command of the strike zone.
First pitch swinging. Luke Alexander. Slow dribbler, and it's a fair ball. Castor let it hit the base. Wanted to see if it would go foul, but it stays fair.
That was the smart play by Castor. I think the only play he had on that ball was to barehand it, and even then, it would have been close getting Luke Alexander at first. He has plenty of speed, middle infielder for Cotuit. And, you know, really good awareness to just say, hey, maybe this one will go foul. But when the baseline in the infield is grass instead of gravel and a white line, it's more than likely the ball will stay fair.
They check Alexander at first base. No one warming in the bullpen right now, so Zavalis is going to get a nice set of work in.
Well, Dodson was up before, but he has since sat down. Maybe he's ready. It's just about when Coach Lawler wants to bring him in. You know, you still got to get through this 6th. Then you have the 7, 8, and 9 part of the order. The 7, 8, 9 part of the game, rather.
Zavalis is 1-0 outside.
Yeah, and this is when hitters like Dillard are dangerous. As a home run on the season, 2-0 count with 1 out and a runner on first. This is not a situation where you want to be throwing fastballs down the center of the plate to the lefty, but that's what Zavalis is good for, painting the black, working the edges of the strike zone.
Dillard's worked a 3-0 count.
Yeah, and he'll probably have his bat on the shoulder here. I would be surprised if he had the green light on 3-0, especially when you can double your lead with the runner standing on first base right now.
Smartly takes the strike.
Yeah, and it just clipped the outside corner. So that's Zavalis' calling card right there. You still have to deal with the hitter's count. Not sure what we're going to see from Zavalis, but Harvard guy, he calls his own game. He's smart. He'll call the right pitches at the right times.
Fastball. Swung and a missed.
And Dillard was way behind it. He was probably expecting off speed, which is, you know, in my opinion, not the correct approach to have at the plate. It's always got to be, you know, think fastball, expect breaking ball.
Zavalis is 3-2. Runner goes. Chopped to Sable. Picks it nicely. Flips to Zavalis for the second out. Runner advances to second base.
Yeah, and the hit and run was what saved Cotuit from grounding into a double play right there. Good work on 3-2 by Luke Alexander, getting over to second base. And now Cotuit, yeah, they could double their lead with that runner in scoring position right now. 2 outs, second consecutive righty-lefty matchup for Noah Zavalis, and he can really run that fastball in on the hands of the lefty. It's why he's successful against them.
Lewis chips it right to Kasser at third base to end the inning. So the Cavaliers leave a runner on. They can't score, but they still lead it 1-0. Gatemen trying to come back, tie this game up.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 17 seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for top-notch baseball training. With over 600 events nationwide for players age 8 to 18 and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more. Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
The 99 Restaurants has 9 real-size entrees for only $9.99. They're big, hearty portions you can count on all day, every day, like their hand-breaded crispy fish tacos with cilantro lime rice. The 99 Restaurants, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Zane Collins, he's pitched 5, he's going for 6 at Spillane Field. Jacob Toby alongside Connor Federico. What have you seen from Collins that you've liked so far?
Well, he's gone at each situation with an open mind, thinking, you know, how am I going to retire this guy? I think he did a bit of scouting on this Gatemen team, and I talked about before, dampening the strengths and attacking the weaknesses of these Gatemen hitters. He's gotten some help from his defense, most notably Avant, the shortstop today. He's been great. He's got a couple of Ks for himself. Ben Baird, his first time around, was a strikeout victim.
2 balls and no strikes. The sun is now gone here at Spillane, except for the right field fence. Other than that, shadows coming in. No one in the infield can get it for the Cavaliers. And going to first base is Ben Baird.
That's exactly what you need, an infield single right through the gap between the third baseman and the shortstop. Avant gets a glove on it, but even if he had kept that in the infield, it would have been impossible to get the speedy Baird. Not sure if they're going to put him in motion with nobody out, and your leadoff guy, Stephen Kwan, who's 1 for 2, went 2 for 4 yesterday at the plate. He could drop a bunt, and Tanner Dodson's up next.
Showed the bunt. Baird thought about going down a second, needed to see where the ball was around the catcher Gonzalez, but smartly chooses to go back to first.
Well, Baird looked pretty committed to running towards second base, and you know, it was lucky for him that Stephen Kwan, he didn't get the bunt down, sort of left his runner stranded there, but luckily for him, it was in the dirt, and Rodriguez not able to field it immediately. If he had, Baird would have been picked out at first base.
Pulls the bunt back. Ball drops again. 2-0.
Well, now you have a different situation for Stephen Kwan. This is a hitter's count. You don't want to go 3-0 in a bunt situation here. You know, just as a reminder that these guys, you know, they can call their own game, not just the pitchers and catchers, but, you know, the hitters and the runners, they do it too. So Kwan is deciding to, on those first 2 pitches, decided to show bunt.
Baird the runner at first. Collins on the hill. Here comes the 2-1. Pulls the bunt back. Now has worked a nice hitter's count. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Well, when you're worried about speed at the plate and a bunt, sometimes pitchers decide that they want to work around the bunt and try to force 2 strikes, maybe get a couple foul balls. Kwan, he's been smart pulling them away.
Pulls the bunt away. It's going to be a walk anyway. Ball gets away from Gonzalez. Runners now at first and second with no outs. This is a great opportunity here for Tanner Dodson, who we saw warming up in the bullpen just a short moment ago.
Yeah, so maybe this is a situation where he might end up helping himself out, but it looks like we're going to get a mound visit right now, and we're more than likely going to see a pitching change, I think, through 5+ innings for Collins.
Well, Mike Roberts heads to the mound talking to his infield. There is action in the bullpen of Cotuit.
Not seeing anybody come down, so it looks like this is just a chat right now. You know, Roberts wears that 5 on his back for Cotuit, and here in the 5th inning, I'm sorry, it's the 6th. In the 6th, he has something to say to these guys, how they want to take a possible bunt from Tanner Dodson. Do they want to try to get the force at third? Do they just want to sacrifice? Either way, you know, getting an out when a guy like Tanner Dodson, who has speed, puts a bunt down, and the runners are Baird and Quan, it's going to be hard to get an out anywhere. So maybe that's what Roberts is trying to remind his guys. We're not sure what Dodson is going to do.
Home plate umpire Stephen Williams was right in the huddle for a moment with head coach Mike Roberts, pretending he's an infielder. Dodson bunts it foul.
So the first baseman is crashing. It's Dillard, and Alexander, the second baseman, going over to cover first. Interesting move. Dodson could just as easily decide he wants to put this one down the third baseline. No, it's all about what the defense is going to throw at you. Maybe Cotuit has something on where they're going to change. That time, both the third baseman and the first baseman crashed initially. So Dodson pulling that one back because it was a ball, but also because he's trying to figure out which direction he should put the bunt down, maybe trying to get a hit. The question is, over at third, if Cone crashes for the bunt, who's going to cover?
Collins 1-1. Bunted down the third baseline. Nicely done by Dodson. The throw is in time. Close play at first base. Nevertheless, Dodson does his job, moves the runners a position ahead, second and third, one out.
Well, that's exactly what I was talking about. He saw that the third baseman, he had to cover third. There was no other option. So Cone stays there. He drops a perfect bunt down the third base line. Just a better play by Zane Collins. I mean, wow, to deliver that ball, spinning away with such accuracy and just the timing to beat Dodson. But that was exactly what the Gatemen wanted. Tyne runs on third, leading run is on second base.
Here's Kyle Kasser with a chance to tie this game. Grounds it to the shortstop Avant, looks back the runner, now there's a pickle. And now they're just going to tag out Quan, who was caught in between second and third. Baird is safe at third, but Avant really caught the Gatemen base runners up right there.
Well, yeah, I think that's a mistake on Quan's part and not Ben Baird. Ben Baird did the right thing, the infield in. Kasser hits a ground ball straight to the shortstop, Avant. And Avant makes the smart play, just decides to tag them both who are standing on third base. I think Quan should have retreated to second there. Either way, there was going to be an out gotten in that situation, but it just makes this a little more difficult for Willie McIver now.
McIver 0 for 2, grounded into a 6-4-3 double play and grounded out to end the fourth as well. Thought about going around, holds up, 1-0.
Yeah, smartly. That pitch was a little too high for McIver right there. Yeah, and when he was up with runners in the corners last time, grounded into that double play, this is a chance to get a little redemption.
Baird remains at third. Kasser's the runner at first. McIver, slow roller to the second baseman, Alexander. And the Cotuit Cavaliers get out of the inning unscathed. The Gatemen still do not have a run on the board. We head to the seventh. You're watching Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
The Cape Cod Baseball League is all about family, and it's all about fun. Friendly's is all about family and fun and is proud to sponsor the 2017 baseball season. Friendly's, life with extra sprinkles.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1991, holds over 600 events nationwide for players ages 8 through 18, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, plus 400 have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
Curry College offers 14 NCAA Division III athletic teams in sports such as football, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, cross country, and volleyball. Read about the success of the Curry Colonels and their championship teams. It's all online at www.curry.edu.
Hey, you gotta honor America somehow. God Bless America was just played here at Spillane Field.
One of my favorites. I'm forgetting the name of the one. America the Beautiful.
Ah.
I think that might be my favorite of the not Star Spangled Banners. But God Bless America is a good one.
Thanks for joining us here on July 3rd. But it's July 4th night here at Spillane Field. Jacob Toby with Connor Federico, Claudia Chikamian. Noah Zavalis coming back out here for the Gatemen. He has been spectacular, 5 strikeouts through 3.
Yeah, and he's coming back on for his 4th inning. Longer than the starter, Justin Glover, who we'll see how his knee is doing after this game is over. We hope he's okay. You know, he's one of the more reliable arms that the Gatemen have had. Didn't give up an earned run.
Gonzalez, the batter right now, 2 balls and no strikes. He's 0 for 2 on the day. Still 1-0 Cotuit. Wareham leaving a runner on base, and also base running mistake by Stephen Kwan last half inning.
Yeah, just a really frustrating situation there for the Gatemen. I mean, they double their runners left on base total. It was 2 through the first 5, and then they left on another 2 back in the 6th. Willie McIver with runners in the corners, both situations back in the 1st and in the 6th, can't come through. And yeah, a little bit of a base running blunder by Stephen Kwan. Maybe he thought Ben Baird was taking off for the plate.
Zavalis will walk the leadoff hitter, Gonzalez. That is Zavalis' 2nd walk of his outing.
Yeah, and when you walk the 9 hitter, usually good things don't happen, especially to lead off an inning. Now you got to go through 1, 2, 3, and not to mention the guy batting leadoff for the Cotuit Cavaliers happens to be one of their best power hitters. Zavalis has to do a good job quelling this potential big inning for the Kettleers.
Griffin Conine is 1 for 3 on the day, grounded out in the first, singled and scored in the third, struck out against Zavalis in the fifth. So this is his second time facing Zavalis.
Not much has changed since the first time he was up. I mean, Zavalis just really working that fastball. Score hasn't changed since he's taken the mound.
Roberts sends this one into foul territory down the left field line. Coming over is Kwan, and it's going to be out of play.
Yeah, that ball just dropping out of the reach of Stephen Kwan. It was a long run over there. Not many guys are even as fast to even make the run all the way over there towards the football goalpost here at Wareham High School.
So no balls and 2 strikes to the leadoff hitter for Cotuit. He's got 2 home runs, 13 RBIs.
Very close pitch there from Zavalis.
Check over at first. Gonzalez back quickly.
Zavalis, Gonzalez.
One, 2. In the dirt and losing it for a moment to McIver. Heading down to second is Gonzalez.
That one just getting through the legs of Willie McIver. Suddenly an 0-2 count becomes a 2-2 count, and Zavalis really has to zero in and make sure you retire the dangerous Griffin Conine, who's scored the only run of this game for either side.
Pitching coach Jim Lawler's coming out to talk to Zavalis. We'll see if there's a pitching change to be made. No one coming out from the bullpen at the moment. And the infield's going to come in now and talk this over with Noah Zavalis.
Yeah, you know, you always want to support your teammate, but there might be something more interesting going on here.
And Jim Lawler is going to make the call to the bullpen. So Noah Zavalis, his night is done. He walks the first hitter he sees in the 7th, Gonzalez. And with a 2-2 count, in comes a new pitcher.
Yep.
We're going to take a short break here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Right back after this.
Don't miss a minute of this station's pre- and post-game sports talk. Tune in on your smartphone with the Next Radio app. It's live and it's local. Download the free Next Radio app from the Google Play Store today. Registration is now open for the 2017 Wareham Gatemen Youth Clinics. The instruction clinics are open to boys and girls between ages 4 and 15. The clinics are a great opportunity to meet and learn from some of the best collegiate players in the country. Clinics are held Monday through Friday, depending on the player's off day. For more information and to sign up your young ball player, visit www.gatemen.org. Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends, staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgentcare.
The Fuller Family Foundation is proud to support the excellent sportsmanship and character of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. We are proud supporters of the CCBBL as well as many other wonderful Cape Cod organizations that serve our community.
So with a 2-2 count, Jim Lawler, the pitching coach for Wareham, decides to take out Noah Zavalis. He goes 3 innings, gives up 3 hits. He is responsible for Gonzalez, who's the runner at first, 2 walks, 5 Ks Frank German comes in with a 2-2 count.
Yeah, the North Florida Osprey. He knows what he's doing out here for the Gatemen. He's been pretty successful since arriving. You know, he was here in the beginning of June as a tryout player, became a full roster addition, and he's a nice little story here for the Gatemen. Him and Zavalis, number 52 and number 53 in white. Same sort of deal.
Conine at the plate calls time. We last saw German on June 28th versus Falmouth. He pitched an inning, walked a batter, and struck out a batter. Gonzalez is the runner at second base. He reached on a wild pitch. Here comes German's 2-2. Is sent on the ground to the first baseman, Sable. Takes it himself. Runner advances to third.
Yeah, weird spot to come in with a 2-2, but German does get Conine to ground out to Sable, but it allows Gonzalez to move over to third base, and that could have been a double play ball had a passed ball just a couple of pitches from Zavalis ago not gotten through Willie McIver.
Chandler Avant struck out looking his last time up versus Zavalis. Gonzalez is the runner at third, showing bunt, and the ball gets away from McIver. Coming home to score is Gonzalez. And 2-0 in favor of the Cotuit Kettleers.
Well, yeah, that's how Cotuit doubles their lead in this ball game. Just a ball that gets by the opposite shoulder of the catcher, Willie McIver. Maybe wasn't expecting bunt, got a little scared by it.
This one hit out to deep right center field. Making the catch is Bonfield.
You get the second out of the inning, and that would have been a sac fly anyway, so not much changes for German. You know, it's tough to inherit the only runner in this inning. It's been Ivan Gonzalez, the number 9 hitter, who was 0 for 2, reached on a walk, passed ball gets him to second, ground ball gets him to third, and a pass ball gets him home. Just tough break for the Gatemen, but that's baseball.
John Cresto, the DH. 1 for 3 on the day. Singled back in the 5th. Takes German's first pitch for a strike. Two outs in the inning, and fouling it straight back is John Cresto. So German comes in with a 2-2 count on Griffin Conine. Gonzalez scores in the inning. The 0-2 bounces to the plate. One ball and 2 strikes to the batter, Cresto, the DH today. Here comes the pitch. Sent up in the air in the infield. Coming over is Ben Baird. Puts it away. Side is retired. Scoring on a wild pitch, Ivan Gonzalez makes it 2-0 Cotuit. We are headed to the 7th inning stretch presented by Eastern Propane and Oil. Proud to sponsor the Gatemen with locations on and off the Cape. More Gatemen baseball after the break on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
The Wareham Gatemen and the visiting team, the Cape Cod Baseball League, and the NCAA promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation and positive support of the participants and officials. Profanity, racial or sexist comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from this ballpark.
Want to hear more about today's game, players, and breaking sports updates? Then download the free Next Radio app from the Google Play Store and tune to this station. It's live. It's local FM radio wherever you go. The Next Radio app. Get it today. Visit Stars Restaurant at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa for a world-class dining experience. A proud member of leading hotels of the world.
We're all stretched out here on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
From Kentucky.
Jacob Toby alongside Connor Federico will be checking in with Claudia Chikamian in a little bit. Our producer today, Nick Veronesi. Tristan Pompey coming to face Zane Collins. He's worked 6 shutout innings.
Yeah, and he's back up there again for the 7th. Pretty impressive stuff.
Pompey on the day, 0 for 2, has struck out, or rather has grounded out twice to Avant at short.
Well, 0-2 is the deficit here for the Wareham Gatemen, and taking a look around other scores here in the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Oh, the bat goes in to the broadcast, the away broadcasters area. Pompey lets it fly. Hold on to your hats. Take a seat for a moment. Watch out.
Our WCTV Gatemen Baseball Network crew did not catch that on film, but
wow,
you can see Tristan Pompey awaiting his bat. You know, that section over there, Jacob, you know, you've been here for multiple years. You know that didn't even used to have a screen at all. Have you seen anything like that?
I don't think I've seen a bat chuck that far. Maybe last year there was one chuck just a few feet over to the grass, but not like that. Whoa. Pompey's got a 1-1 count.
Other scores around the Cape League right now. The Bourne Braves, the bottom of the 7th. They lead the home team, the Falmouth Commodores, 5-2. Interesting over in Hyannis, the Harwich Mariners maintain a 5-4 lead now. That one is also in the bottom of the 7th. And in the bottom of the 6th, Chatham leads YD 1-0.
1-2 sent foul. So the first place and second place teams playing each other tonight in the Western Division. Falmouth is still the first place team with 22 points. Bourne at 20. Right now, Bourne winning that game. It's nice for them.
Yeah.
Pompey was fooled for out number 1.
You know, a lot of shakeup could be happening tonight in the Cape League, especially the Western Division. Got the first and second teams playing each other, like you said, Jacob, right here in front of our faces. Cotuit, 3rd place, Wareham, 4th place, Hyannis, they're in 5th, but they're taking on another team that's in 5th place over in the East Harwich. So if the Gatemen, if the 2nd and 4th place teams tonight win, Bourne and Wareham, it's a complete shakeup.
Ground ball from Bonfield. Retired for out number 2. So if Cotuit wins tonight versus the Gatemen, they jump to 20 points. But if Bourne, and that's where Bourne's at right now, but if Bourne wins, they jump to 22 points, which is where Falmouth is at.
But if Bourne ends up losing to Falmouth, they need Falmouth would need a bit of a comeback. The Braves and the Kettleers would be tied for 2nd. So much to grasp.
Whoa.
So much to grasp.
I'm dizzy.
Good thing it's not playoff time yet. Good thing it's just the start of July.
Jaron Duran, the batter, takes a first pitch strike. Yeah, that's the thing. So much can happen during the season, and then throw it all away. Playoffs are a different story. We've seen that multiple years.
Well, the only thing you're throwing away is the team that came in last from each division. Everybody else remains.
Throw it away in terms of what you did during that season.
Right.
YD is the classic example. We keep bringing it up. A team that just made it in as the last team in their division in the playoffs. They win the whole thing.
Well, it just proves that anybody can. I mean, it's the Cape League. Every team has talent, just some a little more than others.
And it depends on when it comes in. You know, you could possibly not be getting your best guys until right now. Just about, this is probably the latest a guy could come in. Maybe your best player, perhaps.
Well, I mean, Stephen Kwan just got here. You know, he made his debut in the 18th game of the season for Wareham. But those first 17 games, no matter what the lineup is, they still count.
Checking his swing was Duran. Yeah, Kwan flies in the same day he starts a game. It's pretty impressive.
Well, what Pompey did yesterday was pretty impressive, too. You have the home run derby, you get a flight, and you come in and play that day, including a base hit. Griffin Conine did the same thing for the Cotuit Kettleers. One of their beat writers, Matthew Lieberman, telling me He was on just about an hour or two of sleep and played yesterday.
Jet lag? I don't even know what that is. Swing and a miss. Duran goes down swinging. That's the second strikeout in the inning for Zane Collins. He is wheeling, he is dealing. We head to the 8th.
Here are tonight's winning numbers.
2-0.
For the 2012 championship team, autograph broken back by Ross.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
The Wareham Gatemen would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Frank German coming in for his second inning of work. He retired the 3 batters he faced. He'll face Cone, Kinnaman, and Alexander here. We're already in the 8th inning.
Yeah, this one's flying by. It started at 6:30. Now it's
earlier. We started earlier there, I believe.
Just a bit.
Maybe a minute.
6:28 to 6:29.
Hey, it counts, you know.
I know it does. Well, we're at 8:26 right now, so normally I would round to 8:30, but it counts, you know.
It all counts. Cohen, the batter, takes pitch outside.
Including these 2 runs for Cotuit. I mean, one coming in on an error, an unearned run for Justin Glover in the 3rd, and then another on a wild pitch. So, everything counts in baseball.
Gatemen have left 3 runners on base. Check that, 4. And the offense just tonight has just not been there.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a difficult situation for the Gatemen. You know, you want to see your hitters do their best, and just hasn't been happening. I mean, it's nothing like what the Gatemen did to Cotuit the last time these guys played.
Cohen awaiting the 2-2 pitch from Frank German. Skips right past McIver. Well, when you run into Zane Collins and he's pitching like that,
you know, often the first thing you do when you take a look at who's the starting pitcher today, the first thing your eyes attract to at a league like the Cape Cod Baseball League is the school. And, you know, Justin Montgomery came out here yesterday, threw 5 scoreless, was incredible. The school that pops up next to him is Cal Baptist, D2 school.
German will walk Cohen, the leadoff hitter.
Today it's, you know, today for Cotuit, it's Wright State. That's going to be your starting pitcher today, Zane Collins. And Wright State, pretty small baseball school up in Ohio for, you know, for the Raiders. Baseball is just not what comes first.
Horizon League?
Yeah, the Horizon League. So Division I, but small. And it's nothing like some of these other SEC, ACC, Pac-12 schools that we see more often on the Cape League, and that's what your eyes are attracted to. And sometimes the talent is overlooked just because of the name of the school. That might have been what happened to the Gatemen tonight.
Brett Kinnaman tried to bunt it down the third base line. Popped it up, but it goes foul. Kinnaman gets it down right to German. He'll go to second for the force, and missing it was Baird. Couldn't grab the baseball. It's first and second with no outs.
Did German throw a 12-6 curveball over there to second base? I mean, probably not, but it just looked like, Baird was stretching out for it, and the life just came off the ball that he threw over to second base, and Baird was not expecting it to hit the dirt. Seemed like it slowed down there at the end. That's why Cone's safe.
First and second for Luke Alexander. He shows bunt. He gets it down the third base line. Kasser comes in. He'll retire Alexander. Runners advance.
Perfect sack bunt right there. You force your third baseman Kasser to come in, so there's going to be no play at third base. Nobody's there to cover. And Sable, the first baseman, crashed in. It was a good job by Duran to cover the bag. Now the Gatemen infield, they have no choice but to come in on a guy like Luke Alexander, who has a single already today. I'm sorry, Thomas Dillard. Luke Alexander just was retired.
Cone at third, Kinnaman at second. First pitch swinging and first pitch missing is Dillard. One out in the inning and two runners on. Gatemen already trailing 2-0 here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Jacob Toby alongside Connor Federico. Showing bunt, putting it down the third baseline. They'll come home with it. The tag is in time. Cone tagged out at home plate for the second out.
What a great job by Kyle Kasser fielding that ball. He came with it with both his hands, the glove and his bare hand, and just flipped it to McIver, who put a timely tag down. And now you're still not out of this. It really helps you. Frank German getting a lift from his defense, and great play there by Kyle Kasser.
The runner Kinnaman now at third. Dillard at first. Miles Lewis, the center fielder. Swings at the first pitch, sends it foul.
Both runners on have reached on fielder's choices, Kinnaman and Dillard. I like the idea of a suicide squeeze right here. Last year the Gatemen, they walked off on a suicide squeeze. You were here for that.
I was. Runner goes down to second base. Faking the throw is McIver. Now they go to third. And Kinnaman back safely.
McIver can pull out all the stops on you. You never know where he's going with that baseball. Hopefully his fielders do, and Kasser was ready in that situation. I thought he could have thrown out Dillard at second. Dillard not a guy with a ton of speed.
Now Lewis has an 0-2 count with 2 outs in the inning. Here comes German's pitch. Fouled straight back.
Yeah, and German tries to go high fastball right there. Smart decision. I mean, you got Miles Lewis to swing at it. Now you just have to make him swing and miss at one or get a ground ball. Just retire Miles Lewis however you can, and you still give your Gatemen offense a chance going into the bottom of the 8th and the bottom of the 9th. 3 or 4 runs, that is asking a little much.
0-2. Did he go? Yes, he did. Miles Lewis strikes out to end the inning. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. We'll go into the bottom of the 8th. The Gatemen still trail it 2-0. You're listening and watching Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 17 seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for top-notch baseball training. With over 600 events nationwide for players age 8 to 18 and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more.
It's back. The 2017 Friendlies Cape League All-Star Game will be played at Spillane Field, home of the Wareham Gatemen. Mark the date on your calendar, Saturday, July 22nd. Game time is 6 p.m., but the gates open at 2 p.m. One highlight will be the home run hitting contest. There will also be an autograph session and a large merchandise village with items from many of the teams. Be sure to buy your tickets now right here at the merchandise stand. Tickets are just $5, and part of the proceeds will support our Wareham Gatemen.
John Topa coming in to pinch hit for Blake Sable here in the bottom half of the 8th.
Well, Jacob, you and I were just talking about how it was sort of surprising not to see Topa in the lineup card tonight. This is only the second game that he hasn't started for the Gatemen, and he'll play in it anyway. They need him here.
Trying to bunt it down the first base line, sends it foul.
Interesting what the Gatemen will do in the 9th in terms of defense. Maybe move Topa to the outfield and Bonfield to first base, assuming no other substitutions are going to be made. It's still Ben Baird in the on-deck circle. He has a single today.
Gatemen trail by 2 runs. They have left 4 runners on base tonight.
The Gatemen, in the meeting with Cotuit, got their big innings of runs in the 2nd and in the 6th. Cotuit, they've gotten their runs tonight in the 3rd and in the 7th, so just an inning delay.
Cotuit's also left 8 runners on base.
Yeah, and, you know, it's a struggle for any team, but when you have the lead, you'll be happy with it for the most part.
And the thing to pay attention to right now is Zane Collins is still the pitcher.
Oh, my gosh. Didn't even... Oh, wow.
Going into this inning, he had 87 pitches, 54 for strikes. He's obviously thrown 3 more balls and 2 more strikes. That one sent past the dive of Alexander. John Topa's got a pinch hit single.
Well, isn't that John Topa's calling card? Work yourself a count in your favor. The 3-1 hitters count. He just located that ball that he wanted in a nice little box. He said, if it's going to be here, I'm going to swing at it and I'm going to get a base hit. He hits one the opposite way, just past the dive of the second baseman, Alexander, and that's what he's known for, getting himself ahead in the count and hitting the ball the opposite way for a base hit. That's why he continues to be one of the Gatemen's most consistent hitters.
Here comes Ben Baird with Topa at first. Baird rips one right to the third baseman Cone. And a double play, no. Dillard dropped it right out of his glove. So Topa is retired at second, but Baird reaches.
Well, that's a huge break there for the Wareham Gatemen. I mean, swinging at the first pitch you see, I'm not sure if that was the correct game plan for Ben Baird right there. You have a pitcher who's gone 7+ innings, and you let him out with a ground ball. I mean, that could have really changed the course of this game if Thomas Dillard hangs on to that ball over there at first.
Back to Stephen Kwan, top of the order. That breaking ball still working here for Zane Collins.
Front door curveball right there, which we haven't seen much today. Lefty on lefty matchup, and Kwan, he only has a hit and a walk to show for it. Better than some of these other Gatemen tonight. On that pitch, it seemed like Collins was a little too hung up on looking back the runner at first, Ben Baird. Sort of stayed in the air forever on his left foot, trying to fool the runner, dancing back to first base.
1-1 bounces. Topa, rather Baird for a moment was maybe thinking about hopping down to second.
Well, you have to be careful with the lefty, and Collins has done a good job tonight of keeping it discreet when he's going to go to the go to the plate or go to first base. That leg kick, it's straight up in the air at first.
Pitch sent out to left field, coming in, almost slipping was Kinnaman, but he makes the catch for out number 2.
Really interesting position out there for Kinnaman in left field. He is shaded way to the left, and so is the center fielder Lewis at like maybe 15 to 20 feet, just expecting Quan to slap the ball the other way. Now they'll resort back to their normal positioning for Tanner Dodson, who can beat you on all parts of the field, and they're just going to be aware of that.
Well, Dodson's still in this game as a hitter. We haven't seen him yet on the hill. Was warming up earlier in the pen. He's 0 for 3 on the day. Takes the first pitch, strike.
We haven't seen that very often from Tanner Dodson since he started to get all these at-bats at the top of the Gatemen lineup. He's been pretty lethal up there, and he did a real number to Cotuit just a couple of days ago. 4 for 4 RBI, run scored, and a walk.
So Baird reached on the fielder's choice. He's at first with 2 outs. Dodson representing the tying run, and time called at the plate.
Yeah, but that's not the approach you want to have at the plate. Tanner Dodson, no home runs on the year. We're not expecting him to hit one now, but just spray this ball somewhere, get a base hit, and then allow Kyle Kasser to maybe do something. Good eye right there, and now you work the count ahead in your favor. Collins a little frustrated with that, as nobody throwing in the bullpen right now, but you have to imagine at least a couple of arms are warm for the Kettleers.
2 balls and 1 strike to Tanner Dodson. Takes it low. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Well, 3-1 was the count when John Topa got that hit before. And he's not on base anymore. Replaced by Ben Baird on the fielder's choice.
St. Collins, 101 pitches.
Wow.
3-1, broken bat sent out to shallow left field. Coming out is Avant to make the catch and retire the side. So the Gatemen, they strand 1 again. They cannot score still. We head to the 9th. They still trail it 2-0.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape Cod League for 17 seasons, conducts baseball training, tournaments, and showcases at over 600 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players aged 8 to 18. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute care hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare. Expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
Visit Stars Restaurant at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa for a world-class dining experience, a proud member of leading hotels of the world.
Some defensive changes to be aware of here in the top of the 9th. Luke Bonfield moving from right field to first base. John Topa replaces him in right field.
Yep, and we've seen Bonfield work at first base and right field in practice, possibly thinking that Bonfield might be a good first baseman for the Gatemen for the rest of the season, especially with the backlog they have in the outfield and the lack of depth they have at the first base position. So this might be something we get to see more of.
Ivan Gonzalez, the batter, walked, then came around to score on that wild pitch. Just the second run here for Cotuit, but that's been enough.
Yeah, and, you know, maybe the 1-0 lead would have been enough for them, too. Only time will tell. The Gatemen, they have 3 outs to work with. Come the bottom of the 9th, it's going to be your heart of the order. Kasser, McIver, Pompey. Only 1 hit between the 3 of them today, and that goes to Kyle Kasser.
Germans 2-1, sent out to left field. Kwan's got it.
That fly ball had some fans here excited, but eventually the baseball just, it sort of flattens out before the wall. You know, maybe if we were at some other ballparks around the Cape, that would have been gone, but mound visit now.
Jim Lawler is going to make another pitching change. He takes the ball from German. The umpire signaling to the bullpen. Infield will come in, and yes, we are going to get a change. So with 1 out in the inning, Franklin German's night is done. We'll take a short break here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Gatemen trailing 2-0.
It's back. The 2017 Friendlies Cape League All-Star Game will be played at Spillane Field, home of the Wareham Gatemen. Mark the date on your calendar, Saturday, July 22nd. Game time is 6 p.m., but the gates open at 2 p.m. One highlight will be the home run hitting contest. There will also be an autograph session and a large merchandise village with items from many of the teams. Be sure to buy your tickets now right here at the merchandise stand. Tickets are just $5, and part of the proceeds will support our Wareham Gatemen.
Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Cape Cod employs more than 50 full-time employees and more than 25 seasonal. Every year, more than 15 college students get great experience and support their education by working at Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod. Reward yourself. Have a Coke. Registration is now open for the 2017 Wareham Gatemen High School Clinics. These programs are run by the Gatemen coaching staff with a focus on exposing high school area players to the college game. To sign up for either the hitting, pitching, or catching camps, visit www.gatemen.org for more information. Don't miss a minute of this station's pre- and post-game sports talk. Tune in on your smartphone with the Next Radio app. It's live and it's local. Download the free Next Radio app from the Google Play Store today. Curry College offers 14 NCAA Division III athletic teams in sports such as football, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, cross country, and volleyball. Read about the success of the Curry Colonels and their championship teams. It's all online at www.curry.edu.
Pitching change has been made at Spillane Fields. Frank German's night, 2 1/3 innings. No hits, no earned runs, a couple walks and a strikeout. Riley Gates now coming in here with 1 out in the top of the 9th. Gatemen trailing 2-0.
Yeah, he does give up that run on a wild pitch, pass ball, whatever you want to call it, but it's the difference between a 1-0 game and a 2-0 game. I like the job that Franklin German did, and now Riley Gates, he needs 2 outs and give the Gatemen a situation where they can come back, possibly win this.
Gates' first pitch bounces to the plate, nicely stopped by McIver. Last saw Gates on June 28th versus Falmouth. He actually took the loss, only got through a third of an inning. 3 earned runs, a hit, 2 walks.
That was a tough night for the Gatemen.
He's facing Griffin Conine. Conine turning on this one, sending it foul.
Scaring the bullpen in more ways than one is Griffin Conine. You don't want to face him if you're out on the mound. Riley Gates draws the task. But the rest of the pitchers, they get equally spooked by that ball coming at them.
One pitch from Gates, fooling Conine.
Yeah, and Conine, he's shaking his head right now. He's saying, okay, Riley Gates, if that's the game then you want to play, let's dance. And, you know, we'll see how Gates attacks him now after getting him to swing on a ball in the dirt.
1-2 pitch from Gates. Called strike 3. Conine caught looking. It's the second time he has struck out tonight. 2 gone in the inning. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard.
The shortstop, number 14, Chandler Avant from Troy.
Now 1 out away from getting these Gatemen bats up here. And you really want this to remain a 2-0 lead for Cotuit. Gives your bats something reasonable to work with. They've come down from 2 runs in the 9th before and have gone on to win a ball game against the Falmouth Commodores for the 3rd game of the season here in the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Avant, right to Baird, takes a nasty hop on the run. Retires Avant to end the inning. Gatemen have 3 more outs. They trail it 2-0. Can they come back? Keep it locked into the Gatemen Baseball Network.
When you're sick or injured, you want care when and where it's convenient for you. South Coast Health Urgent Care has 4 locations: Fairhaven, Wareham, and now in Seekonk and Dartmouth. You can view wait times and even check in online at southcoast.org/urgentcare. Choose the time and location that's best for you. We'll even remind you when it's time to come in, and walk-ins are always welcome. Urgent care that exists to meet your needs. More than you expected? That's more than medicine. Check in at southcoast.org/urgentcare.
Do you know what that sound is? That's your new digital marketing department. And that'll be your new web designer. And that's Haibu, where these experts are joined by many more, from web designers to search marketing specialists who work hard to get your business noticed online and on mobile. Best of all, Haibu can do it all for you, or give you the tools to do it yourself. To find out more, go to haibu.com. That's HIBU.com, or call 855-464-HIBU. Oh, that'll be your next new customer. Haibu, made for business.
You want to stay in, Zane Collins, says Mike Roberts. Yeah, I do want to stay in. He's out there for the 9th. He is at 102 pitches.
And he's been wildly impressive tonight. Just a devastating breaking ball to go with, a fastball that has great command. He can beat you in a multitude of ways. His defense has been really good for him tonight. And now it's up to the heart of this Gatemen order to start something. Kasser, McIver, Pompey, the big names.
3, 4, 5.
The big names, and it's their time to shine.
Kasser takes a first pitch strike. Just to update on the poll, you have 9 minutes left to go on Twitter to the Gatemen Twitter page rather, and vote on your favorite 4th of July food. What's winning? Burgers, 45%.
As it should.
As it should. I voted for burgers. Hot dog sitting at 30%. Ice cream 15, grilled sausage at 10.
I think a lot of the grilled sausage votes went to hot dog. It's a game you got to play.
It's basically the same. 1-1 out to center. Coming in, diving is Lewis. Robbing Kyle Kasser of a hit, 1 gone.
What a great play there by the center fielder, Lewis. I thought that one was for sure dropping in for a leadoff base hit, but Lewis had other ideas. It looks like he's really shaded in to shallow center field. You know, maybe you want to cut off a base hit. You're not worried about an extra base hit at this point. I don't know what the strategy is.
McIver takes ball 1. I mean, what are your opinions on a guy going the full game here in the Cape?
Didn't think we'd see it here in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Maybe we won't. You know, your stuff, it starts to decline over the course of the game. It takes a real physical specimen to be able to go a full 9 innings at any level, you know, from college to pro. Just get through all these hitters.
McIver is 0 for 3 on the day. He is grounded out 3 times. Both rather all times have been to end the inning. In the first, the fourth, and the sixth.
And by the way, I mean, Collins has only faced 4 more than the minimum.
Broken bat up the middle. Coming over is Alexander on the run. Not in time. McIver legs it out for a 1-out single.
He was probably thinking out of the box that one was going to get into center field for a base hit, but once it took a hop over the mound, it lost some steam, and that allowed Alexander to even get a glove on the ball. Really a loopy throw over to first, just wasn't going to cut it. So now the tying run is at the plate for a guy who was just at the home run derby. He's batted on the right side. All of today is hitless, but the right side is where he was for that home run derby. He's probably thinking about that home run swing, and my bet is that Coach Don Sneddon is in the dugout thinking, just slap one the other way for a base hit. Just do what we've been working on, and let's see how this at-bat turns out.
He's ahead, 2 balls and no strikes. Luke Bonfield is waiting on deck.
Another guy with plenty of pop in his bat. Good pitch to come back on 2-0. Pompey maybe hoping for a 3-0, but really good job by Collins as he's done today. The majority of the pitches he's thrown have been for strikes, nearly 3/4 of them.
2-1 call for a strike. Now the count even.
That's exactly what he has to do against Pompey. I mean, these pitchers sort of know that he's been struggling on the outside corner. That's where you want to deal to him.
Runner on first is William McIver. 1 out in the inning, 2-2 count to Pompey. Swung on and missed. Fooled on that nasty breaking ball.
Well, he saw a steady diet of fastballs in that at-bat, and then Collins just goes and changes his eye level. You know, you think you're going to see one that's down towards your knees, and then the bottom just comes out of that curveball, especially towards the hitter, a lefty coming towards a righty. Just a really, really difficult pitch for Pompey to try to square up, and he cannot successfully.
That is the 8th strikeout from Collins tonight, and Luke Bonfield is the last hope for the Wareham Gatemen. He takes a strike.
Collins hasn't slowed down at all. I mean, it seems as if his pitches have lost some velocity, but his accuracy is still very impressive.
And the break is still there on that curveball. I mean, my lord.
Yeah, I think he's got a ton of confidence in it, just based on the fact that he's thrown 8 2/3 shutout innings. This game can change in a heartbeat, though, and the Gatemen have been waiting for their breakout moment.
1-1 to the second baseman, Alexander. That is your ball game. The Cotuit Cavaliers come into Spillane Field and shut out the Wareham Gatemen. They fall by a final score of 2-1. Rather, 2-0. 2-0 your final score.
Behind 117 pitches tonight from Zane Collins. Throws a complete game shutout. The first and maybe the last of the Cape League season for any pitcher.
On July the 5th,
Now the Wareham Gatemen, they fall to the Cotuit Cavaliers by a final score of 2-0. They even the season series up at 1 game apiece. Cotuit advances to 10-9. The Wareham Gatemen fall to 8-11.
Yeah, I mean, on a night where you could have been tied for 3rd place, you're probably going to remain in 4th place. Hyannis about to lose to the Bourne Braves. And this is a tough position to be in for the Gatemen. You win one, you lose one, you win one, you lose one. It's been that way for 6 straight days, or 6 straight games rather, for the Gatemen. They'll remain 5 of their last 10. It's just, you know, it's a 500 team right now, and their record shows 8-11, but there were a few games where you just didn't have the guys that you wanted, and it's a bit different.
So the Wareham Gatemen Again, they fall to 8-11 on the season. And they fall here at Spillane Field on July 4th night, here on this July 3rd evening. And thank you for listening to this broadcast of Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network. The general manager of the Wareham Gatemen is Andrew Lang. The producer of today's broadcast is Nick Varanesi. Our sideline reporter is Claudia Chikamian. Thanks to our beat writer, Maddie Feld. Next broadcast of Wareham Gatemen Baseball will be Tuesday as the Gatemen visit the Bourne Braves for a special 4th of July matchup. Game starts at 6. Our coverage begins at 5:30 with Gatemen Pregame Live, presented by South Coast Health. For Connor Federico, I'm Jacob Toby. Thanks for tuning into this presentation of Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.